that out. So I'm pretty new to Whatnot. Hi! I'm new to Whatnot, so I'm kind of figuring things out. I'm gonna do some sewing, and I think I've got some items in my shop. So I thought I'd just work on making some more things. Well, will people watch me? Or people can shop, but I'm gonna make some stuff. I'm gonna do some sewing. I've got my sewing machine right here, and I've got my iron right behind me. So. Okay. No, I definitely have a lot of things where I'm deciding if I want to do it as like a bow or a bandana. I was gonna play some music on my Spotify, but I guess it's not gonna let me log in. Go figure. Come on, you know who I am. No. Come on. There we go. Ha. You know who I am. Let's try it this way. I think I should have enough things in my shop. I do! Okay, fabulous. Fabulous. I will... Oh, okay, those should also be in here. No, they are. Okay. Let's just pin product. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I fling pins now. Let's continue to, oh, there we go. There we go. I'm logged in. I can play music now. I shouldn't swear. Oh, my Wi-Fi should be on. Now it's on. Hopefully it'll give me like, it doesn't mean I have a bad signal, but I might. There we go. Let's play some music. No, not this song. Okay. Oh, hi! I'm making some stuff. So I've got my sewing machine right here. Let's see. I might go blurry because my phone camera is broken. Is it gonna focus? We'll see. It will. Let's see. If I do this, it'll focus. Nope. Ah, there we go. Okay. Got a bunch of fabric. I'm deciding what I want to do with it. If I want to do like bows or like hair kerchiefs. Got this really cool piece that's unfinished. Like somebody had been doing embroidery, but they didn't finish their project. I just think that's so cool. I think I originally bought it to make like a corset. Maybe I'll still do that. I think corsets are just a lot more tedious. I'm hesitant to make clothing because it's harder to find. It doesn't fit everybody, you know? Like accessories fits everybody, or most people, you know. Clothing doesn't. I did a little bit of cleaning this morning. Whenever I clean stuff, it's like, oh, now I know where nothing is. You think it would be the opposite, but it's not. Ooh, I know. I got these guys. Where am I? I made these, and these were, I feel like a pretty fun design. It's like a belt bag thing. Oh, I'm going to put skirt hooks on this. That's what I'm going to do. Ooh, I've got this. Ah, come on. Let's see. Let's see if it'll focus. Nope. Nope. Okay, it's still not gonna focus. God damn it. Are we gonna stay blurry? Hi! I'm gonna do some sewing and hopefully make some more witch hats. I didn't have oh, I'm not blurry anymore! Yay! Okay, that's good. I had to get some special stiff fabric to make witch hats, and since Joann's closed, nobody sells fabric or interfacing locally anymore, and I'm so sad. I guess there's one store that might have it, but it's like, out of the way. So I had to buy it on Amazon, which isn't my favorite thing to do, but, you know, you do what you gotta. So I've got these, and they're like belts, or almost like a fanny pack, because you can't tell very well, but it's got, there it is, pockets. And so you can kind of tie these around your waist if you're wearing like a skirt or pants without pockets. They were my own little invention, my own little design, and this is a vintage fabric from, I think, probably like the 70s. And it's a knit fabric, but it's not super stretchy. These aren't stretchy because they're backed with 2 layers of a lining, and there's also a twill, like inner layer, so they're not stretchy. But I had them lace up and back, so they are adjustable. This one's a little bit bigger, and I've got one that's smaller and fits me, and I think my hips are like a 40 or a 38, so I think I probably could go to like 36 hips. Well, I guess my waist is like a 28, and it kind of sits between the waist and hips. So I would say like a 27-inch waist to maybe like a 32-inch waist. I could measure it to find out for sure. And then this one I'll have to measure. I still need to put on the skirt hooks, which it like closes in the front with hooks. So it's these chunkier hooks that they're like easier. They're not like the little hook and eyes, which can be a little fussy. Okay. Maybe I will do. Yeah, that lines up nicely. Okay. Ah. I think I'm multicasting to YouTube, but I don't know how that works. So, hi. I'm doing some sewing here just to make some more inventory, and I've got some items in my shop I could show. I've got some bows, some collars, and hopefully I will be making some more witch hats soon. Maybe even tonight. I had to wait for some interfacing to come because I need like a special extra stiff interfacing for the brims. So I did order some that arrived a few days ago, but it was not the right kind. So this stuff I'm thinking will be correct. No, I think this is the stuff that I've used in the past, which honestly could be a little stiffer. I ordered a different option, so I'm thinking I'm going to try both. And I picked up a ton of quilts yesterday, so they're going to be super cute, and I'll make a bunch and see which interfacing I prefer. One's called Decoville, which I have not used before. The other one's just called Fusible Buckram. They're both by Pellon, or Peloton. But, you know, it's this company that makes most interfacing. Yeah. But I'm trying to hit the sales goal that the app sets. That way I will get a bonus or whatever. I'm like, I want the welcome bonus, you know? But, you know, going to be working on some projects. Let me know if you want to see anything, or if you have any like recommendations for what you think would sell or what people want to see. But basically, yeah, I make stuff out of old fabrics. I really love old quilts. Like this is just an old quilt square. I think it's vintage, not antique. So vintage is anything over like 50 years old, and then antique is anything over 100 years old. So I think this is more like over 50. But I've got a bunch of these squares. You can see, yeah, this was hand quilted. You can kind of see, I don't know, like all the hand sewing somebody did to make that. I think is really cool. And I hate to see these pretty fabrics go to waste. I think they make such, they're so unique, you know? And that's why I've been trying to use them. I found a ton of them when I was in St. Louis. Like at this quilt store, they had a ton of these antique and vintage quilt squares for like super cheap, like 10 to, or it was like $5 to $20, like for bags of quilt squares. And I went a little crazy and I bought so many to use for material. So I've made a lot of bows. I've made a lot of banners, which let me show some because they are super cute. I haven't sold them on here yet because I think they're harder to display. And I've been kind of holding on to them to sell at like a craft. Oh, this is my favorite one. It might be feed sack, but you know. Sorry, I'm blurry again. I'll be buying a new phone soon, but I don't want to spend the money right now. But dude, it's like a little banner you can hang, you know, on a wall or something. But this one was hand-pieced by a very young girl about at least 80 years ago. I think she's 95 now, and she was a young girl when she did it. But she did it to make some extra money, and then it didn't sell. I guess she wasn't able to sell it. But it's this one was hand-pieced as well. And these fabrics, they could be feed sack. They're, you know, light cotton, and they're maybe a bit too fine to be feed sack. So I'm thinking maybe they were like shirts or, you know, it feels like a shirting fabric. A little lighter and a little finer than like a modern quilting cotton. So, but I haven't sold those yet on this app because I don't have a good, I think I'll need to like set up a spot for them to show. But right now I'm just putting closures on this pocket belt. And this isn't quilted; it's like faux quilted, but it is a vintage fabric from I think like the 70s. But it's got little pockets on either side. And I just designed them because I did the pattern myself, and I just designed them because I wanted something that I could wear with my fun pants. I have a lot of cool pants that do not have pockets because why would women's pants have pockets? So I've made some of these, and I've made some like little pockets you can wear with a belt. Hi. So I'm gonna just sew by hand these little hooks on, and then I got my machine right here. And I might make some bows, and I'm thinking maybe some witch hats, but I've got to grab the package. I don't have my pattern here, but it's not like a hard pattern to just draw out again, because witch hats are just cones. They're just cones with circles. So I got to do some like pi math, some circle math. By that I mean I Google circle calculator and then just kind of draw out a shape. But I did my first little round of witch hats from this super cute blue and coral quilt. I haven't sold all the hats yet. I actually just sold 2 of them. I think I've got probably four more from that quilt. I know I want to hold on to at least one of them just so I can have. I want to have a bunch of like different quilted witch hats together. I want to take some photos of the different options because I'm going to definitely be doing more of those. I think they would definitely sell well at a Ren Fest, and I've got some friends who sell at a Ren Fest, so I might be able to get in with them. We have a really big Ren Fest here in Minnesota. That's fun. The owner, he doesn't really put money into it. I don't know. Let me know if you guys want to see anything particular. You can look. I've got some items in my shop right now. The photos are not very good, but oh, thank you for following. Do you sell on here, or are you just a buyer? I'm very new to this app. My friend who, I guess she started selling Pokemon cards on here and like did super well. She's like, you gotta try it. And I was like, oh, I don't know. But I'd spoken to somebody a couple days previous who also mentioned this app, and she sells rings made out of old spoons. They're really pretty. Um, but I should follow her. She talked about she was gonna do a sale and whatnot, and I was like, oh, I don't know. Because two people mentioned it, I was like, I'll do it. I'll give it a try. So we'll see. I've got like one more day left to hit the new seller like thing they have. If you sell to 5 different people within the first 7 days, you get like your money doubled by the app. And I'm like, oh, I want that. I'm hoping I can reach that, but we'll see. If I don't, it's okay. I'm gonna let's see. I'm gonna go out of town in July, so I'm gonna see if I can, I'm gonna try and use this app and like stream and make some stuff and sell some stuff in the next couple of weeks before I have to leave for a work thing. I'll be up in Duluth, and like I could still stream and like do a show, but it's like I'm not gonna have the energy because this job it's like 12-hour days, and so I don't think I won't be able to do it after work, and I think on the weekends I'll just want to take it easy. But I mean, I'll still probably be sewing on the weekends, but I don't think I'm gonna be like selling on the weekends, you know? 'Cause it's a lot easier to just like sit in a room quietly and sew than it is to like sit in a room and like talk and sell things. I don't know. I finally made my first purchase on this app. I spent too much money. Oh my god, wow. It's so easy when there's a bunch of people like all bidding on the same item. It's too hard like not to. I spent like 40 or $50 on like one thing. I was like, why did I do that? I did not mean to. But it's a piece of fabric, and it's from a feed sack, and I guess those are very trendy right now. I'm hoping I can make something really cool out of it. Maybe I would like to turn a profit, but I really just like to use old materials that have been forgotten, because there's so much clothing out there. There's so much fabric out there that just gets wasted. And I don't want this stuff to end up in landfills. So let's see. There we go. And plus, I have a huge hoard of fabric that I want to use, because if I use it, I can buy more. I particularly like collecting scraps of fine fabric, or like of fancy. I love silk. I love silk taffeta. I learned how to sew working at this one shop where we made a lot of corsets, um, and we used mostly silk dupioni, which is a silk fabric that has a texture to it. Oh, you sell and buy? Yeah, yeah. What kind of stuff do you sell? Rain Girl. I guess I could check your profile. Um, Wait, but will I leave this here? I'll give you a follow. Follow back. Oh, thanks for following me. Oh, you've been selling here for a long time, or on the internet for a long time. Oh, you make stuff. Oh, okay, cool. Like bags. I know a lot of people like turn quilts into bags. Oh, okay. Ooh, that's a cool pattern you have. Sorry, I was looking at your shop. Let me. Ah. But there we go. Ah. I think people. There we go. The fabric I have, like these quilt squares, they're too thin to be like bags, you know? They're too delicate. So I have to make stuff that's a little bit more, that doesn't take as much wear. Because bags, I think, really get like tossed around. And I mean, this fabric would rip. Even if I reinforced it, it's just too delicate to be used for that. But collars and bows don't receive as much like friction when they're used. Hi! I'm just doing some sewing here and making some more items for my store. I've got a few things in my shop if you want to check them out. But I make stuff out of vintage fabrics and quilts. So, got some bows. I've got some witch hats that I'm going to be making. I might get to some tonight, but I don't know if I will because I don't have the pattern with me. It wouldn't be hard to draft a new pattern for one of the hats, but yeah, I left the pattern at this shop I work at a lot, where I was working on some hats. But I couldn't finish any because I didn't have my interfacing. But now my interfacing has arrived. So, okay. I like the angle of this. Let me just better. Hi, doing some sewing here. Well, I've got some items in my shop, but I make stuff out of vintage quilts. So like this guy, I don't think he's antique. So anything antique is over 100 years old, but this is vintage, and it was a hand quilted piece. And so I hate to see those things go to like waste. So I've been making them into like collars and bows, and I'm gonna be doing some witch hats too. So I guess my stream does say like making witch hats, so I should probably get on that. But I put off the stream because the fabric, the interfacing was supposed to arrive today, and it did. It did arrive today, but it just took a lot longer than I thought it would. So I was gonna start this earlier, but then I was like, no, I want to wait for that interfacing to arrive. So it just arrived about maybe a half an hour ago. So let me finish this guy, and then I'll start on with some hats. Here, I'm gonna. Oh, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pin the. There you go. I'll pin my mystery witch hat. Let's see. I want to set a. I want to make sure this guy can do a flash sale on this if somebody wants. Okay, I can do a flash sale. Cool. There we go. How do I run that if I want to run it? Options. I wanted to run a flash sale on that. How would I do it? I mean, I guess I could do it on my computer, but I don't know if I want to. Options. It is featured in the show. There we go. Assign one item. And can I run a flash sale? Edit listing. Next. There we go. Okay. Okay. Is that gonna work? Maybe if I have to run a flash sale, I'll have to pull up my computer. It's just right over there. Okay. Oh no, my thread did this thing that I hate. How do I fix that? Come on. There we go. Maybe that'll work. Haha. Okay, better. Jeez, I messed this up. I've been using like the good hand sewing thread. I got some at this like craft resale, like fabric and yarn resale shop. They're super cool. They have a big sale every year, or I think twice a year, where that's people donate. They sell everything people have donated, and it's like a big garage sale. But they do it year round now because I guess there's just been a lot of demand, and a lot of people who are, I guess, probably are cleaning out their garage or their mother's garage or whatever. I know when I die, there'll probably be a ton of fabric left over that someone will have to figure out where to sell or donate or. I mean, hopefully they'll be like, I know the time is coming. I'll have to go through all my fabric, use it all up. I think some people really hoard fabric. I mean, I know some people really hoard fabric, and I'm not the worst. I do hoard fabric, but I could be worse. I think I have a manageable amount of fabric. I just don't. I rent, so it's like I don't want to buy stuff that is just gonna sit around forever. Because, or like I don't want to buy stuff that I have to move, or like I have to clean, or I have to worry about. Like I would love to have more like knickknacks and like display items, and I don't know. I'd like to have more cool stuff, but again, I rent, and I don't want to have to deal with moving my cool knickknacks. So like, I want my house to look like an antique shop, but imagine having to clean an antique shop or move all the items in an antique shop. Mm-mm. Not doing it. Plus, I have a cat, so she knocks everything over. Which, I could work around, I guess. Also, I can't have nice furniture. I got this couch that's like it's not really an heirloom, but I mean, it's for my parents, and I like this couch, and I want to get reupholstered because it looks really rough. I could show it. It's like back there. But I'm like, I can't get this reupholstered until after my cat dies. I love her. She is right there taking a bath, so maybe I shouldn't talk about her death while she is so close to me physically. Maybe she'll be mad. She will never forgive me, but. Anyway, I am like, I cannot get this couch upholstered until after she is passed. And that's not for a while. She's only like 6, so she'll be around for a long time, and I love her very, very much. And that is, yeah. Like, I'd rather have her than a newly upholstered couch. So, hi! I'm doing some sewing, and I'm going to be making some witch hats. So let me know if there's anything you want to see in particular. But I've got some items going in my shop that I could put on flash sale if folks are interested. But I'm new to this app, so I'm still figuring things out. I'm trying to hit the, there's like this deal where if you sell a certain number of items within the first 7 days of making an account, you get like a bonus. And I'm like, I want a bonus. So we'll see. Trying things out. But I make accessories and clothes out of vintage quilts and like other vintage and antique fabrics. So there's just so many damaged. There's so much damaged antique clothing or antique quilts or just old beautiful things that I hate to see go to waste. So right now I've got this like belt with pockets in it. It's very Renfesty. Here we go. I definitely need to pull up a mannequin or something to show this if I want to show it. Oh, I'm blurry again. Oh, there I am. Okay. but this, it's pockets. So that way, if you're wearing pants without pockets or skirts, you can have pockets. So none of these are in my store yet. I think oh, thank you for following. The fabric, oh, thank you. Yeah. So do you sell fabric on here? Or do you just buy fabric? Because the one thing I've bought so far is fabric. Oh, I got some pretty cool stuff. I'm excited to use it. I didn't. I wasn't like until. So my friend, somebody I know, sells Pokemon cards on here, and she like talked me into using this app. I never bought anything on here before or used it, so I'm still super, super. I don't know. Okay, I'm a little confused. Like I think I figured things out, but there's definitely been like a steep learning curve because I didn't study before doing this. I will. Hi. I'm doing some sewing and working on making some accessories. Let me know if there's anything you want to see, but I make bows and kerchiefs and collars and witch hats out of vintage and antique fabric. So I particularly like fabric that's already been quilted. Like this is a little vintage quilt square that somebody hand did. I've got a whole pile of these. So I make like banners out of them. I'm just trying to figure out, or I should put on one of my collars. It doesn't really go with my outfit, but it is cute. This is another vintage piece, I think it's 2 or 3 vintage quilt pieces that I then backed with silk taffeta. So this is the silk, and like real silk. People call polyester satin silk, and it's not silk. That's actually silk. Not that polyester doesn't have its uses, but I don't know. I prefer to use natural fibers in most situations, even though I think the downside of natural fibers is they're more expensive, right? But I don't know. I think if you're going to make something, you might as well make it out of the correct fabric and like make it as well as you can make it. So, and when I use silk is expensive, right? And so if I'm making something out of silk, I like to keep the offcuts if they're a decent size, like the scraps, because then I can use them to like, be the back of a collar or be a kerchief. I should put on a kerchief, or I'll put on one of my little bows. This one kind of goes with my hair. See if it'll focus again. Nope, it won't focus. We'll see. I'm hopefully gonna get a new phone soon because the camera on this one is broken. But it is a vintage quilt square that I have then backed with silk, and just like a little scrap of silk. So, and then the little tie in the middle of silk too. But let me just, and it's got a beret on the back. There we go. My hair's kind of too short to make this actually work though. It feels a little silly. I think I struggle because the stuff I like to make isn't necessarily the stuff I like to wear. Like I love a cutesy feminine like outfit, but that's just not me as a person. I'm much more like edgy punk than soft and cute. But I'm not the best model for my own stuff. Maybe I just need to make things that are more my own style. But I don't know. I like a very like casual look. And like, why would I make a t-shirt? And plus, yeah, why would I make a t-shirt? I'd rather just buy a t-shirt and like, I guess I could get it screen printed myself. I once tried to figure out screen printing and I could not. But I know a screen printer, so like maybe I could ask to use his setup or like hire him to make some shirts for me. I don't know. I do have some art that I think I want to get screen printed, maybe to make some patches or just to add to I don't know, add to stuff. I really love medieval manuscript art, so, and a lot of it's public domain too. So there's this famous collection of woodcuts called, what's it called? Oh, it's like the Drolatic Dreams of Pantagruel. It's a series of medieval woodcuts of like weird monsters, and the theory is that they're all visual puns, but nobody knows what those puns are anymore because they were like old English puns and very like contextually relevant. And now nobody can figure out what these weird designs mean. But they're super cool, and I really want to get some printed onto some fabric or maybe onto a t-shirt. So I don't know what I would do with it if I had like, I guess I might make patches and like sell them. I'm planning to go to some art fairs this summer as a seller. There's one pretty close to me that happens every Sunday, so I've got a booth there purchased for the 16th. I think I've got a friend who's going to do it with me, so that'll help. Here we go. This is done. Tie off. Let me know if my sound is bad or like if the camera does something weird. I mean, it might just do something weird because it's kind of broken. There we go. There we go. Boop. All done. So, hi. You can kind of tell what I'm making, but I've got a collar and one of my bows on. But they're all vintage fabrics, vintage like quilt squares that I've collected. And then I've got these that I designed. They aren't listed on here, and maybe I'll try and sell them on here. But they are little belts that have pockets. So if you're wearing like a big skirt or like, I made them. So I wear a lot of like fun pants that just don't have pockets. Like they're cute pants, they just don't have pockets. So let me know if there's anything you want to see. I'm going to be making some witch hats too, and I feel like I know people want to see that kind of thing. But I was going to make more, but then I had to wait for the fabric to arrive. But it's finally here. Well, I have fabric, but I needed to purchase some heavy duty interfacing. So I'm gonna grab. 1 second. There you go. Maybe it'd be more interesting if I move this further away. This is definitely the favorite one I made. I'm not gonna keep it for myself, but I am considering it. Maybe I'll do one. I don't think the color palette's really like my thing. Honestly, I mostly just wear like black. I mostly wear black. I've got some like green, and this is more like reds and golds because it's just what I had, and it's pretty. Again, it's just not my thing necessarily. So. Oh no, did that wrong. I'm trying to watch the camera and watch my sewing. Maybe I'll just watch my sewing and then just hope I notice if somebody pops on. I think these quilt squares that I used to make this belt were like antique, as in over 100 years old. So I think Edwardian, not Victorian. So it's the Victorian era, and then after that is the Edwardian era. And the Victorian era is super long. I mean, it starts in like I think, does it start in the 1840s or 1850s? Might start in the 1840s. Because it starts when Queen Victoria becomes the queen. That's why it's the Victorian era. Duh. And then the Edwardian era starts when King Edward becomes the king. And then he's only king for like a decade. Hi! I'm making stuff, so let me know if there's anything you want to see. I do bows and kerchiefs and collars made out of antique fabrics. So I've got some on right now. They don't really match my outfit, but it's backed in silk, and most of them are either backed in silk or linen, because they're fine fabrics, and I like to use them so they don't go to waste. You know, when I make a corset or a dress, I'll have some like weird pieces left over, and so I use like the remnant. It's called like I guess, is it a remnant? I don't know. I'll use them. So. I wonder if this app cares if you use if you like listen to copyright music. I wonder if this app cares if you play copyrighted music. Probably doesn't, because I've seen other people do it. But maybe like a strike or something. But I don't want to sit here in silence. I guess, yeah, it is silence. It was raining earlier, but it's stopped now. I was gonna go out and do some stuff, but didn't want to drive very far in the rain. I guess it would have been fine, but. Oh, hi! I'm doing some sewing. Let me know if there's anything you want to see in particular. But I make bows and collars and witch hats out of vintage quilt squares. So right now I'm doing some. It's like a belt that has pockets on it. So then, oh, you can see. I might end up at a Renfest. I think I do want to try selling some of these on this app, but I don't quite have the setup to display it yet. I do have a phone stand. Oh, thank you! We'll see. I might try some craft fairs too. But I'm new to this app, so I'm still figuring things out. The app really pushes you to like make sales within the first 7 days, and you get a bonus. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try and get a bonus. So, but I definitely made an account without like super thinking it through or doing research first. So it's been a learning curve for sure. But somebody recommended I do like I hang out on here and like make stuff. So I've got some items listed in my shop. Not the best photos, but I've got them with me if you want to see any. I know people want to see like I feel like witch hats do the best. But I was waiting on some heavy duty interfacing to arrive, and it did arrive today. So I will be doing some of those as well after I finish this guy, I think. Because these have been sitting in my pile for a while. I want to get these done. So, are you a seller on here or just a shopper? I find that a lot of people on here tend to be like sellers and buyers. I think I can imagine it can get really addictive. I was in somebody's live earlier buying fabric, and oh my god, it was those auctions are dangerous. So I spent a little more than I planned on it, but I got some really pretty fabric that I'm definitely looking forward to. We'll see. Maybe I'll make some bows out of it. It was more like seed sack fabric, which I think is very like on trend right now. So yeah, I think I've talked to other people who have said the same thing. So I'll follow you. What in particular do you like to buy on here? I think I've watched some fabric shows. Oh, I'll follow you back here. Because then if you ever do a sale, I'll watch it. Yeah, I watched a couple of like fabric sales on here. I've watched a couple of fashion sales. The person who recommended I use this app, she sells Pokemon cards on here and like makes a killing. Ooh, okay. Well, let's see, vintage fabric and new fabric. Oh, okay. Yep. So I've got all these vintage quilt squares that if you're interested, I could like list some. But they're a bit delicate, so they're not ideal for bags. I guess maybe you could like use it as like a side of a bag. Sure. Oh, here, let me just do. You have to create a listing. The first sale I did, I hadn't created enough listings, so I was like making listings as I sold. I thought I made a listing already for like random quilt square, but I don't think I did. No, maybe I did. No, I didn't. Discard. Okay, I didn't do that. I thought I had. Okay, I'll do it now. I'm gonna create a listing for these quilt squares that I just haven't used them yet, and I'm not sure what I would use them for. Here. But I've got some, I took a photo. Okay. Random square. Vintage quilt square. Sorry, I'm creating a listing right now. I could do it on my computer, but that's over there, and I just don't want to knock stuff over. Let's see. Next. Let's see, $1. Done. Okay, here we go. Pin. Let's see. Ah, there it is. So, if you want one of these, I was just gonna sell them for like $1. They go for different prices online. Oh, okay. Should I just pull one? Close my eyes, or do you have a color you want? I mean, you can pick, honestly. Hi. Let me see. I'll just pull a random one. How does this one look? I've got a bunch of these. They're really pretty. I got a lot of them as a set, and so this one it came with a set. I think it's from like the 50s, but I might be wrong. I'm out of focus again. Let's see. Well, sure. Oh, I set it to only one item. Here, I'll set it to multiple. Edit listing. Wait, or that. Maybe I'll have to create it as a new listing. Let me just do that now. Create quality listing. Upload photo. Let's see. Random square. I'll list 8. They weigh about 1 ounce. I mean, honestly, they're probably like less than 1 ounce. 1. Okay. And then I'll pin that. There we go. There we go. That should work, right? Yeah. Oh! Okay, I'll pull another one. Is there a color you want or anything? I'm not looking. Oh, this one's sweet. It's a bit of a smaller one, but it's really cute. And then these have all been washed. I've got this product called Retro Clean, and so I used that to wash all this fabric because a lot of it, I think it just smelled like a cigarettes, you know? Like even like this none of these have ever been part of a quilt. But I think they were just sitting around in somebody's basement, just like soaking up the smell of cigarettes. Thank you for buying 2. I'll put these to the side for you. So, thank you. Oh, you bought a 3rd. Okay, is it gonna notify me? I'll pull another one. Okay, close my eyes. How's this one look? Oh, that'll be nice because this matches. Because these 2 will actually go together. Oh, there it is. It was backwards. Oh, but it's really lovely pastel blue. You can see the pattern there. Super dainty. But I think they definitely match pretty well. If you wanted, like, you could definitely do some cute bags or I don't know. Oh, do you want the 3rd one to be a different color? Because I can pull you a different one. Here. What color is this? What do you think about this one? I feel it's a little bland. Here. Or I could if you just want to pick one. If you have any requests, I think this one's really fun. But here, I'll look away. Pull something else. Another one of these like plain ones. I mean, they're cute, but I just think they're harder to use. Oh, this one has blue on it too, but it's orange. This one? The orange and blue? This is a super sweet one. Oh, it matches the collar I'm wearing. Okay, great. I'll put this aside for you as your third square. But I got that one as a set, and I used the other squares already to make this collar. You can tell. So, but then I just didn't get to using that one yet. So, thank you. I appreciate it. Let's see. I'm gonna finish putting the hooks and eyes on this guy, and then I'm gonna start making some witch hats. So, do you sell the bags you make anywhere, at like art fairs or anything? And I've never actually made bags before. I mean, I think did I do a tote bag? Maybe I've made a tote bag. I don't know. I've always been more into clothing and like making fashion. I was super jealous of quilters growing up because they got to use all like they had all the fun printed cotton. And when you're a kid, I think, I don't know, it's harder to care about solids. I really loved, like a novelty print when I was, 10, 11. I still do. Uh, oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. I know my aunts have been very supportive. They've bought some of my stuff. Oh, that's so nice. That's good. Okay. I mean, I am not doing that because I'm not a migrant, but I am broke. So, but God, I do. I live in Minnesota, and we've had a huge ice presence here, which has been just really rough to see. Um, It's one thing if people commit crimes, but they're arresting people for no reason, or like who are here illegally. It's criminal. It's so bad. It has been nice to see like communities come together to try and fight ICE, but I don't know. Thankfully, there's been a lot of protesting here, and things have calmed down a bit. But it's so. Ugh. The news, I've never seen like worse news. Oh, I'm so sorry. Are they still in detention? Because those facilities are so evil. Like, it's it's awful. It's because they're not criminal. Oh God, I'm so sorry. That sucks. God, I hope they get out soon. The things they're doing, like this government is doing, this administration is incredibly inhumane, and they have decided to scapegoat immigrants because I guess they're an easy victim to blame all of the nation's problems on when that is not the issue. It's so depressing. I feel like there's nothing I can do to help. Like, there's not nothing I can do to help, but there's only so much as an individual you can do. Hi. I'm yelling about how messed up the administration is. So God, it's openly racist. Like especially the things that they've said about Somali people has been so evil. That's good. Are you from Minnesota? Or I guess probably I don't know. I guess they've been all over. I know we as a state got targeted because of walls. Oh, Philadelphia, is it Philadelphia? PA. That's Philadelphia. Huh. Yeah. Yeah, I know we were targeted because of I guess probably Governor Walz, and they decided to I don't know. It's like yeah, the whole like what's the word? What happened? It was the oh, why am I not forgetting the word? They were scamming the government near Pittsburgh. Okay, okay. Not there was some like company or like people committing like fraud or whatever, and they blamed it all on the Somali community, like Donald Trump did, which is such BS. I God, I should try and see if I can volunteer more. I think I have a hard time with protests because I don't like loud noises or groups of people. So I think I struggle to be at protests. But there's a group in my area that makes like art and protest signs and like does fundraising. So I might try and go see if I can volunteer with them. It at least has been good to see how people connect and like fight back. I'm just so ready for the midterms and for something to change. Yeah. I feel guilty for not going, but it's not for me. I went to one with my dad and it was super, super icy out. Like it was horrible. And he just turned 70 and he's on blood thinner. So I had to like, yeah, he's on blood thinner. So like the whole time I was keeping an eye on him. Oh, yeah. Yeah, don't mean do that at your own risk. I guess I'm in favor, but also you might get shot apparently because we had 2 people get shot here. And like I'm glad the people who were shot were yeah, no, not safe. Not safe. Not a safe thing to do. Punch a Nazi, but at your own risk. I don't know how anyone could work for ICE. Like, I guess either you're a very evil person or you're just desperate for money and have no morals. It's like you couldn't be a cop and now have decided to be like a bully. Like, oh good, you're kidnapping immigrants. Cool. You're stopping brown people in the street. Great. You're fucking evil. So, I mean, I'm a little disappointed Donald Trump hasn't been assassinated, because everyone who has tried has been apparently incompetent. But I guess that does risk him becoming like a martyr. So it'll be better if he dies of old age. But who knows when that will come. At least he's old. That makes me sleep well at night, knowing that he is old and decrepit and might die soon. And like a lot of the other people in the administration are evil. Like J.D. Vance seems crazy in his own special way, but at least he doesn't have like the cult following. I know! Come on, people! Get it together! Ugh. Like, realistically, it would probably cause more of a mess if he was assassinated, so it's better if he dies of old age. Ugh, it's so bad. So bad. And I don't want to, like, leave the country. I'm not going to do that. But it is... I don't want to be in a country that does these things. You know? I want to be able to be proud to be an American. I want to be able to be patriotic. Like, I've made a lot of, like, red, white, and blue stuff. I've got some really cute... I've got these quilt squares that are very Americana, and they're probably from, like, the Civil War era. But it's not... I can't be patriotic. Because I can't be proud of my country right now. They're pretty. I'm blurry again, aren't I? But they're dyed with indigo, so. There's a really cool local store that sells... Yes. I am a professional seamstress. Full-time. Well, sort of full-time. I do gig work, so. Yeah, I know I'm not alone. I know you're not alone. We're not alone in feeling this way about where the world is and what the country's doing. But no. No to what? Sorry, anyway, I sew full time. I mean, I also do other stuff. I work in film, and I work with costumes. Yeah, we're not alone. We're definitely not alone, and I guess the voice of the people matters. I don't know. But yeah, I've been sewing professionally for about 7 years now. I started right after, like, it started sewing in college, and then right after I got a job somewhere doing like corsets and fantasy costumes for people. So I made a lot of really cool wedding dresses. My real goal is to go into costume design, so always got a notification. So yeah. I do love fashion, but there's so many ethical issues with the fashion industry that I just didn't feel comfortable being a fashion designer. You know, I didn't want to make t-shirts to be manufactured by like orphans in India, you know? Hi. Let's see. Okay, I've just gotten this guy finished, and I'll probably start on some witch hats after this. I picked up a bunch of old quilts yesterday from Facebook Marketplace and from a thrift store. I went to a thrift store. And I don't like to use quilts that are in good condition because I feel like they serve... Yeah. There we go. I do want to make more clothing to sell. It's still harder to... Like, I love clothes, but it's harder to make clothing because everyone's such a different body size. And so, you know, if you're making a one-of-a-kind item, you can't exactly do a size run. So I've taken a few private commissions, not from this app, but just from, you know, the world. So here she is. So it's like pockets, and then it laces them back to be adjustable. Let's set these to the side. Here we go. Okay, I'm going to start doing witch hats. So thank you. I know. I had to buy this from Amazon because Joann's is closed. I want to figure out if this is the type of interfacing I like to use. So I do have a different supplier I could buy from, but I can only buy from them in bulk. There are 2 different interfacings I'm going to try. Okay, this is the Decoville, which I've never used before. But it's really stiff, and so it might be a good hat brim material. because I do have one witch hat with me right now, but it's I didn't have any interfacing, so it's really floppy and doesn't really work. She's kind of sad. Here, I'm gonna grab it. 1 second. Okay. Let me try. So this one isn't interfaced. It's not bad. Okay, you've used this. Okay. It's definitely highly recommended, or like I've seen other people talk about it, but it's how to tell how it's going to work from a description online, because I don't know. Okay. Leather-like fusible stabilizer. I like that it's fusible. I do not want to deal with sewing it in. Okay. It's the sign cover with a damp press cloth. Okay. On a low temperature. Huh. Try that out. But this one, it's not interfaced, so I just don't like it as much. I think they sit a lot better when they're interfaced. Yeah. See? So I've got this one I'm going to use, and then I've got fusible buckram, which I've used in the past, and I've got coming in the mail. Okay. Ooh, I got this quilt yesterday, and it's made out of ties. It's not in very good shape. But see if I'll get into focus again. Oh, thank you! Yeah, I figured then people can, I don't have to take photos, and then I could just make something for somebody. Got this quilt. And also because I haven't been able to make a bunch of witch hats. Thank you. I'm just doing that now. So I would love to make something custom for people. If they're into a certain color palette or aesthetic, or if they got like a really big head or a really small head, I don't have to worry about, I don't know. Thank you. So I'm hoping I can cut around this in a way. I think I'll do my cutting on this table. Yeah, you guys are just propped against a little like speaker I have. I do have a phone stand, but my dad has stolen it from me, so. I'm gonna do this. There we go. I'm gonna use the hat that I already had with me as a pattern. Thank you. Thanks for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. Not alone on here. And I hope your friends are gonna do okay. Yeah. Hi. I'm making witch hats. So I've got this one right now, but it's floppy. Oh, that was the other person. Okay, whatever. Let's see. I do have a pattern for these, but I left it at my with my employer, so I don't have it with me. So I'm gonna have to draft a new one. But that's easy because it's just a circle. But I need to grab a pen or what I'll do. Got some. Nope. Here we go. Got some chalk. How about I move this higher? Let's see. Is this better? Maybe this will be better. I'm blurry. Oh, there we go. Okay, my head's cut off. Okay, great. Now I can do my cutting and also see my screen. Okay. So this is a new interfacing for me. It's called like Decoville. I know it's pretty popular. But I'm gonna compare this to the fusible buckram that I've used before. But the fusible buckram hasn't arrived yet. I'm still waiting for that in the mail. And then I'm able to buy either one in bulk, but I'm gonna wait until I decide which one I like better. See if I'm gonna get unblurry. Come on. Okay, I'm just blurry now. I'm got a big job in July. I'm gonna probably have to get a new phone before that, so I'll need a camera that actually works. Maybe if I restart my phone? Because when I talk to the store people, they're like, no, only your back camera's broken. And I'm like, are you sure? Because my front camera also seems broken. There I am. Okay. Let's see. If you're still here, Des, I did pack. I think you're the person in here. I did pack your bows, so I've got them. Hi. Okay, cool. I had them packed, and I threw in something a little extra that I thought you might like. So I appreciate the support, and I followed all those people you sent me. And I was watching, what was her name? One of them, the one who was in my live last time. Oh my god, the curly hair. But I watched a little bit of her. Thank you. I watched her sale today. She was selling some pretty cool, brands. I think I'll definitely buy stuff on here eventually, like buy clothes. I did buy some fabric earlier, and I definitely spent more money than I meant to, but I don't it'll be pretty. It's pretty cool stuff. So, hi, I'm making witch hats. So, oh, vintage. Did you buy a specific one or a random one? Let's see. Vintage quilt bow. Let me make sure I put your item to the side. Bow. Okay, did you buy I think you bought the red and white one. Yeah, okay, I bet it's that one. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, I think that I'm one person away from hitting my little goal to get a bonus. Okay. I'm gonna hit it then. So, and then the app will double my profits, which I'll take. Oh, you bought the blue bow. Okay, awesome. Let me grab that for you. Let's see. I think it's in one of my bags. I did put them all together. There they are, right behind me. Oh, it's this one. Oh, this is a cute one. Let's see. Can you get? Yeah. Thank you, Des's mom. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's got a little beret clip back. So, and it's linen on the back. I'm not, the quilt square, it might be vintage or antique. I definitely think it's an older fabric. I got it as part of a set in St. Louis. So, I think St. Louis must be a big quilting hub because there weren't any fabric stores there, but there was a ton of quilting stores. So, I'm not a quilter, which is funny, but I like the look of quilted fabric. But I got some pretty cool quilted things. So, and then the witch hats are going to be out of quilted fabric, but finished quilts because they have structure to them with the batting inside of them, as opposed to I have a couple of unfinished quilt tops, which I don't think I'm going to use for witch hats. I'll use for something else. I guess if someone really wanted me to, I could use one of my quilt tops if they really like the colors. But okay, what size should I make this for? I've got my circle, and I'm going to cut the head hole now. So, and then I will press this onto my fabric. Yeah, I think I'm gonna grab the quilt for next, actually. Which one should I use? Okay, I think I'm gonna use this guy, because it's right there. But it's, I think it's vintage, and it's a bunch of old neckties. So, it's pretty damaged, so I'll have to be careful to cut around it. But I think it's really pretty. I did pick up some, more cutesy children's quilts. And so I like that this one's a little bit different and not as childish. I think the pastel colors will definitely appeal to some people, but not for everybody. And this is definitely more my style, these darker colors. I'm going to cut around. I don't think this quilt is actually that old. I mean, maybe I could date some of the tie fabric, but I don't think it's that old. But it is pretty worn out. So I think it'll be fun to use my little section that I've cut out. So I think it's the shiny side. Oh, and you can see how it's pieced on the back. See my blurry? Okay. And somebody did all this hand sewing to like, let's see. I think it's pretty cute. Okay. This is a new material for me. Let's see how it presses. I'm going to, let me move my iron so I can actually still see the screen. Ah, there we go. Come on. I have some skirts that I'm gonna do out of I've made a couple out of vintage like table runners. They're so cute. But I need to I need a special tool before I finish them. Yeah, it's a crazy quilt. Yep. Are crazy quilts just like irregular shaped fabric? Is that how that works? So I think I have another quilt that someone called a crazy. No, I don't know. I do prefer the busier quilts, but here's the skirt that I made. But it's like a wrap skirt. Maybe I'll keep this one. But I was going to use grommets for the holes, so it's like adjustable when you tie it. But my grommet press wasn't working correctly, so I did do one, but it's too loose. So, because I was just used when you press grommets, you have a little guy and you have a little post, and you smack it. But these I wasn't able to smack tight enough. So I'm thinking if I get like because they also have these presses instead of like hammering it. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I know. Like I definitely like the different designs. And I know they have like different names, like a wedding ring or I don't know. Definitely gonna look into it before I've got some other quilts that I'm gonna cut into. I want to know what they're called. Yeah. Let's see. It did tell me to spray this or like to use a damp press cloth, but I've never done that before, so I'm gonna try it without a damp press cloth and see how that works. Maybe I'll grab a cloth. Let's see. I've got a spray bottle. I bet that would work nicely. It also told me to use a lower temperature, which again I've never done on interfacing. It's always usually on a high temperature. Maybe I should follow the instructions. This is an experiment. It'd be nice to have one of those like presses like people use for when they do Cricut stuff. You can get like a special Cricut press. Like Cricut, like the cut vinyl machines. Those are pretty cool. I've used the iron on vinyl. I think I've got some around here. Oh, that did work. Okay. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Oh, I think this will be. Oh, my iron. Oh, have I made a tactical error? I have made a tactical error. Okay, that did come off pretty easily, which is good because I put it on wrong. Okay. I think maybe actually I will press this. I'm gonna grab some lining. I actually want to put the interfacing on the lining, not on the fashion. What am I going to use as my lining? Let's see. I've got a bunch of different fabrics. Oh, I'm going to use. I don't use. I think this will be nice. It's a men's shirt I picked up at the thrift store, but it said it was cotton, but it's super silky for a cotton. But I think it'll look nice. We'll see. do it like this. I don't know, I just bought it because I was very surprised with how silky it was for a cotton. I guess I'm not super concerned about fusing the interfacing to the fabric because it will be enclosed. Oh, and I have a wrinkle. Oh, and then it comes off really easily. Huh. The other woman who was in this live was saying that I think she makes bags, and she was using this fabric, the Decoville, before she'd used before. So I think it would provide really good structural support for like a purse. The tag describes it as being leather-like. So, which of course doesn't mean anything because like there's a lot of different weights of leather. I do a little bit of leather working. For a while I was like, oh, I should make like leather chokers to sell it. There's a goth club that has like goth nights. But then I didn't finish those. I do have ADHD, so. I do a little, yeah, so I still do a little bit of leather working. It's really fun. I have some little like pockets that I've made out of leather. Well, I made one out of leather, and then I recently picked up some more leather to make some more pockets. So it's hard to find like good black leather, and it's usually pretty expensive, especially for lighter weight leathers. But this I got some at like a secondhand store. So okay, I like that. Let's see, how am I gonna do this? I'm gonna cut around it at about a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Maybe like a 3/8. I really like my sewing machine. It's a semi-industrial Juki, but the throat plate. Oh, yeah, leather. Like I'm like that means nothing to me. Thank you. Depends on the thickness and the lead of the leather and like how it's treated. So, like I was shopping online, like trying to figure out what kind of interfacing I want to use, because the stuff I have been using, it's not quite as stiff as I would like, especially because the quilting fabric's a bit heavy. So I think if I wasn't using quilting fabric, it would be fine. Or if I like layered up the fusible buckram, if I layered it up twice, it might be stiffer. But maybe I won't like this. I'm gonna test both out and see what I prefer. And I'm thinking I don't have to interface the like points, like I like when they flop over more. But maybe I'll try it and see how it goes. But here's my circle. How do I want to do this? Okay. I'm gonna flip it. I'll do it like that. I don't really like I don't know if I like these two together. I'm gonna cut a different square. Or a different circle. Okay, that might be nice. Let's see. It's like a light blue. Maybe. Could use some of the bigger pieces. How about, yeah, I'll focus on this blue area. Okay, yeah, these blue and green ones will be nice. So. Yeah, I think, yeah. Okay. Maybe, how does this corner look? It should be good. Do you do much sewing? Because you said you've used this before. Or did you say you'd used the Decoville before? Let's see. Let me scoot this over a little. Let's do it like this. Okay, let me try it like that. So how do I want to do this? Let me think. I'm going to pin the lining to the fashion. and then I'll cut out around it. Here are my pins. There they are. I haven't used that. Oh, you so too! Oh, that's cool. Okay. I definitely want to I might sell some of my vintage patterns on this app. I've got some patterns my aunts have given me. The downside, though, is they're only one size. A lot of the older patterns are. So that's why I kind of like the reproduction ones that they did. You know, like Simplicity and Vogue did like reproduction patterns of like some of their older styles. So I don't think I'm gonna cut around this. So much for pinning it before cutting it out. But I can't quite get it balanced very well on my board, and I don't want to like do this on the floor while talking on the stream. So the person I bought this quilt from, she was actually somebody I'd worked with before. Like, I didn't recognize her, but I had been a dresser in a play she directed, and she recognized my name. So got my table here. I'm gonna sit down. Me. I'm blurry again. See, am I gonna get unblurry? No. Ah, man. I will be getting a new phone. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks. But I gotta figure out if I can sell this one for a profit, or like for money. Because as long as you don't mind, like, if you're not somebody who uses a camera, this phone just works fine. And it's not even that old. But I use my camera a lot, and I need a good camera. Okay. I mean, if you know what you're doing, it's not too hard to make a pattern bigger. My aunts, my family's like not, I mean, they weren't like super wealthy or anything. And so growing up, they made a lot of their own clothes. And so all the patterns I have, a lot of it's from like when they were in high school or like when they were younger. So a lot of it fits more like tweens, or it's very, it's very small because they were, young women. Like I've got a really gorgeous pair of jompers from my grandmother, or my great grandmother, who got married. I think she got married in the 40s or maybe early 50s. Maybe it's earlier. Maybe it's like 40s. But they're like, how do I describe jompers? They're like tight in the calf and they kind of are bigger. They're so cool. And they're not in great shape, but they're tiny. Like I'm pretty thin and I cannot fit them. I mean, she was early 20s when she got married, so she must have been small. But that's yeah, okay, great. I do the pattern for some actually. Like a modern pattern. For like men's jumpers, but I could alter them to fit me. I don't really know what to do with her pants because I heard hers, because I don't want to get rid of them. Like I don't want to throw them away. And I don't know what I would, like I could make them into something, maybe? I guess maybe I'll do that. I collect antique clothing. Whenever I find an antique textile, like antique bodice or something, and if it's under $50, I'll usually buy it. So my best ever find, I found a 1770s court waistcoat in a phenomenal condition. It's so beautiful. It's the best thing I own, and it might actually end up in a museum in my area. So, oh, my boss just texted me that she has strep. Oh dear. Well, that's okay. Yeah, so it's okay. It's the most gorgeous thing. It's silk satin. It's beautiful fuchsia pink, and it has original buttons. And so one day I was on Pinterest. Well, the reason I know it has original buttons is I was on Pinterest one day, and I saw a waistcoat that looked so similar to mine. And so I went to the website and I emailed the museum, and so our waistcoats must have been made in the same by the same person. So the way they did it is in the 18th century is fabric would be like waistcoat fabric would be embroidered oftentimes overseas in like China and India, and then people would buy it and then you'd have these panels that had embroidery on them, and then you'd cut it out to your size. And so I think my theory is that they were probably embroidered in the same like factory or by the same person. So I paid like $50 USD for it because they told me it was Victorian, and I'm like, that's not Victorian. Victorian menswear was not fun colors. You know, as soon as you know what, as soon as like 1840, men stopped wearing fun colors and like stopped wearing fun court suits and stuff. So, okay, let me just get this guy. Yeah. But it's only got like one rip in it. I have photographed it. Maybe I should link my my little personal Tumblr in my bio. So I've got a Tumblr where I post photos of my antique clothing I've collected. I did. I mean, I don't know. In the U.S., it's really hard to find antique clothing because Europeans didn't come here until, there weren't a lot of Europeans here wearing European fancy clothes, right? But in Europe, I mean, you can find that kind of thing anywhere. So, the person I got it from, it wasn't like a clothing store. It was just like a random flea market in Scotland. Mostly selling like furniture and like picture frames and stuff. And it was just like hanging up, and I was like, wait, that thing, I want it. And so it can be hard though, because sometimes theater pieces can get confused for antique clothing, especially like vintage theater pieces, But I've got a pretty good eye for telling what is old and what isn't. I think a big giveaway is unfinished seam allowance. So a lot of the times, actually on like women's bodices and dresses, the seam allowance on the inside isn't lined or it isn't finished. It's not serged. That makes it easier to alter, but also they weren't wearing those garments against their skin. So, it didn't need to be finished because you were wearing, you had like a blouse on or like a thing on and then a corset on and a thing underneath that corset. So your outer clothing wasn't touching your skin. So there's like some structural like lining or like structural support layers, but there isn't like a lining like on modern clothes. Okay, I think this will work. Okay, here's the wrong side of the fabric, which actually looks pretty cool. Let's see. My big pizza. So I think I'm just going to sew around the edge of the Decoville with like my foot just on the edge of the interfacing. Okay, let me move my camera. Ah! I've done something. There we go. Oh, I know. I hate that. They didn't. And yeah. If I see another movie that has like the tight lacing scene, I'm gonna scream and cry and throw up. Like some wealthy women did tight lace, but that was not the norm. Also, Victorians, they had photo editing. I mean, once they started taking photos, they figure out how to alter those photos to make their waists look smaller. And plus, a lot of it's an illusion. A lot of it's an illusion because they wore big skirts and big shoulders. That makes your waist look smaller. So, of course, they're actually quite functional garments. So, I think that's a hill every costumer will die on. Right? Yeah. Ugh. It's nonsense. It's at least something you can see if you know what to look for, I think. And I understand why corsets get a bad rap nowadays. I mean, first of all, the corsets you can buy from, like, eBay are poor quality. But also just corsets are not comfortable if you're not used to wearing them. I don't like wearing corsets. Like, I don't find them comfortable. I know a lot of people do. But even nice corsets, I don't find them to be super comfortable. Just because I don't know, I like a looser fit. But if you wear corsets every day, if that's your norm, if that's what you're used to, like, they're perfectly comfortable. Especially once you've, like, broken in a corset. Okay. There we go. And I'm blurry. There we go. I'm making witch hats. Yeah. Oh man, I should probably start wearing my corsets again, because whenever I get my back or my shoulders start really hurting, if I wear my corset for like a day, it goes away. And it's a great way to support your bust, you know, if you're boobier. But I think a lot of modern corsets, they really like push them up, which is hard to wear with like a normal outfit to work, you know? Like I love a little like sexy Ren Fair cleavage moment, but that's not for a Tuesday. So yeah, I have two corsets that are, I think one's Timeless Trends, one's Gothica that I got at Goodwill for like $10 each, and they're like nice spiral steel boned corsets. So I do have quite the corset collection for somebody who doesn't really wear corsets much. I've made many a corset. I do it for work. I don't really like to do it on my own because they're really tedious. Since they have so many pieces to them, it just takes forever to construct them. And I think, especially if you're doing a corset with like a lot of pieces in it, you should be super careful about your seam allowances, because if you're off by even like a little bit, you know, that totally changes the fit. Because if you're off on every piece, you know, and it's a 16-piece corset, then the whole corset's fit is wrong. So, oh, I hate this song. Man, I like this song, but it's not, I don't know. No. There we go. Some Hosier. Yep. It is a pain. And you have to do a mock-up first. You can't just make it. You gotta, you know, make a mock-up. You have to have a friend fit the mock-up. Ugh. I mean, there's a lot of good tutorials, because there's a lot of people who do it. A lot of people use Coteal to make corsets. You don't have to, because it's really expensive. You can just use canvas. The person I made them for, she would use 2 layers of canvas, and then she'd have a lining and then a fashion layer. So it'd be 4 layers of fabric, typically. So, yeah. Yeah, you have to have a sewing friend who can fit you. And like, thankfully, I mean, I could technically ask any of my like coworkers to fit me, or I even have some sewing friends who I could probably ask, which definitely helps when I'm making things for myself. I have a mannequin, but it's not my exact measurements. I don't know. I bought it to like drape patterns, but I just don't drape a lot of patterns. Because I don't want to. Like, there are so many commercial patterns that have already been made. Like, why do I need to make my own pattern? I don't. So I don't. Okay. I'm gonna cut all this off. Have you bought fabric on this app? Like, to make vintage clothes for yourself? Or like clothes from vintage patterns? Yeah, it's the one thing I did purchase. Did purchase earlier today is some cool fabric. So, let's see. Now I'm gonna fold this in half and find my center. I guess I'm gonna fold it like a pie. Let me grab a tape measure, or a measuring thing of some sort. There's one. I'm gonna grab my, okay, I think, where's my chalk? There it is. So, ooh, okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't know if people sell like bigger quantities on here. I'm pretty lucky that in my area there's actually still some fabric stores. You know, after Joann's closed, I It's like, where do you buy fabric? See, quilters are so lucky. Because you can buy so many fun fabrics, and if you only need a little bit, well, then it's easy to buy fancy or cool stuff. So if you're just doing a bunch of different fabrics for one quilt, so that it gives you a reason to buy a bunch of different fabrics. But I think, I don't know. Yeah. Yep. I do love to thrift stuff. I think for me, like, I'm definitely a fiber snob. I don't like a lot of polyester. And so I think a lot of the cool fabrics at thrift stores end up being like curtains that are polyester. And it just isn't, I guess those are good for like big skirts and stuff. Like, I think you could do really cool stuff for like a Renfest outfit. Or my mom, she definitely uses like a lot of vintage denim to make, or not vintage, like old shirts and old like jeans to make stuff. Okay, let's see how this turned out. Come on. Let's see, I might have made this a little bit small, but that's better than a little bit too big, so I can cut it bigger. So I can't remember if it's like what the I can't remember now. There we go. Oh, Doja! Oh, she wants me to open the hallway door, I think. Okay. Not bad. Okay, I'm gonna flip this. A couple of the hats I did had like bound edges instead of like finished at it. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Definitely a lot of like petting stuff. It's like, how do I buy fabric online if I can't touch it? They're different. Doja, what is it? You've been fed. You gonna come over here and say hi? You gonna come over here? Yeah. Good girl. She don't want me to play with her. She is such a sweet kitty. Oh, you want to see her? I'll show her. Doja, you gonna meow? Yeah? Are you licking your chops? Huh? Yeah. She always likes to get involved in my projects. Let me throw a toy for her. Doja, should I throw a toy? Should I throw a toy? Where's your toy? Where's your toy? There's one. Your little ball. Huh? What's this? Woo! There we go. Oh, vicious predator. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do with her when I'm out of town for work. She's stayed at my dad's house before, but cats are weird about going to new places. So, okay, I think this will work. Yeah, and then here's the top. I just think it's pretty cute. So, okay. It works. Okay, I'm going to press this again so it's nice and sits nice. I'm definitely going to try doing some witch hats that have wire on the brim. But I just don't want to deal with that in this very moment. Okay, where's yeah. And plus it'll take a lot more time to do that. Like, it'd be more time consuming to do. So. I might try and get some of these into a Renfest. I think I probably will. But I gotta wait till my boss gets back, and she's, like I said, she's sick right now. Just texted me she was sick, so. Oh, I've got 4 people. Hi. Let me know if there's anything you want to see. I've got some items in my shop, but I make bows and collars and witch hats out of vintage fabric and quilts. I got one hat here with me right now. This guy. But it looks a little silly because the brim is an interface, so it's a bit floppy. So, I've got a crazy quilt that I'm making into a witch hat right now. It's made out of old neckties. It's pretty unique. I don't think it's that old. Like, I think it's more like from the 90s, not like super old. But it was in pretty rough shape when I got it, so I don't feel bad about cutting it up or anything. Okay, this will work. Okay, yeah, that sits nicer than just, okay. Okay. Well, now I gotta cut up the fabric for the cone. Let's see. Here's the whole quilt. Where is, I thought I had a piece that I already cut. Here it is. Yeah, I cut this in it and I realized I cut it too small. It might be big enough to make the cone part though. No, I think that's too small. Okay, I'll have to make a smaller witch hat out of it or something. Let me pick a section to use for the cone. And let me know if there's anything folks want to see. Like I said, I've got some stuff in my shop. If you want me to like pull it out and show it, because my photos aren't the best. Let's see. As well as I was thinking about doing some like random pulls for like, I've got some quilt squares. I've got some bows. Oh, thank you. Okay, let me know what, like, if it's a color palette you want or anything. Yeah, because I've got a bunch of really cool quilts now. So I'll definitely make something special. I could definitely do one that's more goth or more, yeah, I don't, yeah, I'll do it like that. Okay. Let me figure out how I want to do this. Yeah, let me know what colors you want or anything. Okay, definitely dark colors, dark jewel tones. Okay, let me grab a quilt that you might like. Let's see. What? Oh, I've got two. There's that one, or where is it? Oh, here it is. It's one of the photos I have on that listing, but it's this piece. Let's see. I know my camera's kind of blurry. So I've got that one, which is like darker tones on a black background with blue. Or I've got this one. It's just a quilt top, but it would still work. This one's, I think, a bit older. Let's see. So I can get unblurry. Come on. I'm still blurry. Okay, well. Anyway, got this one. Or the necktie quilt is also darker jewel tones. I do have one that is like orange and black and cream, which very much is like Halloween-y. So just give me a message and I'll do something. I'll do something cool. And tell me your head size just to make sure. And I'm sure it's, I don't know, sure, probably a normal size head, but. Oh, artist choice. Oh, that's scary. I'll figure it out. Let's see. Okay, this is, I think 12 is probably a little too short. Okay, I'll have to do that probably maybe tomorrow. I wonder if it'll let me ship the, no, I can't do it like, I wish I could send like the stuff as one package if I could just mail, well, anyway. Do you have any soft, yes I do. This one, okay. I got this really cute one. It's a little baby quilt. Let's see. Am I gonna focus? Okay. So there's this guy, which would make a really cute hat, very sweet. I do have another one that's not with me that's cute and pastel, but not like baby-y. It's white with little like pastel floral fans, sort of quilted. I don't have photos of it, but I do have that one already like halfway cut out. I bought a bunch of hats actually halfway cut out of that fabric, if you're interested. So, yeah. Definitely found a lot of quilts made out of those sort of sweeter fabrics. I think a lot of people like to make, quilts for new babies and stuff. So I've been a bit selective when buying old quilts. I don't want to buy one that's, going to be used for something, or like it still has life in it as a quilt. So most of what I bought has been, damaged in some way. Like this one I'm cutting right now is in pretty rough shape, but I'm able to cut around the, damaged areas of the quilt. And of course everything's been washed really well before I'm, turned it into a hat. The older fabric I have, I hand wash, but these quilts, I've been machine washing. Yeah, this one is, again, I think older. Is this one antique? I thought, where's the antique quilt? This is the one that I have. Okay, maybe I'm thinking of this one. But this one I did hand wash. And I had a really hard time, actually, because the fabric would not stop bleeding. Like, my water was red forever. But it was because the red on the quilts, I guess the dye wasn't set well enough. Okay. And I think this is an issue you have with older fabrics. Or just over time the dye breaks down and doesn't set. Okay, this will be cute. Aww. Yeah. Okay. Let me check. I'm going to measure this to make sure I cut it big enough. Yep. Yeah. Okay. Well, I feel like, is that only for, like, the washing machine so it doesn't bleed onto other stuff? I could probably look into, like, setting the dye. But now that I have washed it and, like, unless it gets super wet, it shouldn't be an issue. Now, some of the quilts I've had have definitely, like, bled onto themselves, and that's been sad. Like, the product I'm using to wash them is specifically for old stuff. So, I was hoping it wouldn't make my colors bleed. But I wonder if it's like hair dye, where as long as you don't get it hot, it's fine. Because, like, as long as I don't take a hot shower, okay. Yeah. I also mostly wear black. I mean, I guess I'm wearing red right now. And now that my hair is green, I wear a lot of green. Okay, good, I get to cut this right size. Maybe I will... So what I could do is I could just overlap this and do it by hand. Maybe. No, I need to cut a lining for this. Yeah, right, I have to wash them. I can't just, like, let them be gross. Because a lot of them are yellow or, like, smell horribly of cigarettes. Okay, I'm gonna grab let's see. Where is... Let's grab a fabric to line this with. Yeah, Doja? This might look nice, and it kind of goes with the brim, so yeah. Here, let me put an item. 1 second. Oh, my phone is gonna die. Here, I've got my bows on flash sale if anyone wants one. I also put I've got like a bunch of quilt squares that I haven't used. I don't think I'm gonna use, but I was gonna see if anyone else wanted. I've got some pretty ones that are mostly either like white and a color, and I'm just not as crazy about like the white ones for what I make. I don't know. Okay. Oh, thank you for following. Do you do stuff out of old quilts or like old fabrics? Yeah, this will be a good lining. I'm just gonna put this piece on top of this to use as my pattern. I do have a better pattern for these, but I left it at somewhere at my job. So I was gonna actually be making these and streaming from that place, but it rained today, and I just didn't want to drive in the rain. I don't know. The place I work is actually kind of far from me, Hi. Okay. So I'm just going to use this as a pattern and cut my lining. I think this will match the lining of the brim really nicely. Yeah, oh my gosh. I know some quilters like don't pre-wash their fabrics, which is insane to me. So I think what I heard is that like when the fabrics, once you've already quilted it and you sew it together, the fabrics shrink a little and that like makes it tighter. But also like then what if your dye bleeds? Like what if, you know, even modern quilting cottons can bleed sometimes. I'm pretty religious about washing my fabric. Or like religious, diligent? I guess I'm diligent about washing my fabric. Also, like people, I don't know, like storage facilities will spray fabric with all kinds of like chemicals to, you know, prevent it from rotting or like getting bugs in it. But I don't want that on my skin. So, okay. Going to fold this. And then I'm going to have to, I realize I'm going to have to wait to finish. Let's see. Yes! Yes! Okay. I should. So the quilt stuff, I love this, like the stuff I have. I don't know, I don't want to over dye it because it's like a quilt. I think if that happened to any of my like, I don't know, loose linens, I would. I should show you. You might like, I made some skirts out of vintage linens. Where are they? Here, they're so cute. The little wrap skirts, they're adjustable. Here's one. So yeah, you can tell. Yes, if my camera will focus. But it's all of these like super sweet little linens, and then you wrap it around. So that way it's like adjustable by size. Let me see. It's like very, very sweet. But I might sell some of these on here, but I want to definitely get better photos before I do that.